Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Miguel.
This is the Didn't Anyone Mention podcast.
What do you got for me today?
I guess, yeah.
Well, I had a recommendation.
Oh, from who?
From your mother.
My mother.
I guess our mom. You know,
one of our most loyal fans.
Yeah, literally.
Thanks, Mom.
I could argue even my sister, straight up, as soon as it releases, she's listening to it.
Listens to it.
Yeah, on Mondays. So
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty funny.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yes, we appreciate you guys. Oh man, I did look up how to say it. Lake Lanier.
Lake Lanier.
Yes.
Where is that at?
Georgia.
In Georgia. Honestly, with that name, I would have guessed like Midwest, like Montana.
Oh.
Montana's kind of. Is Montana considered Pacific Northwest?
I have no idea.
I know Idaho is kind of on the edge there, if it's considered PNW or not.
I don't know. That's pretty geographical for me.
You know me, geographical kind of guy.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for recommending this. Didn't have. I had a couple topics, but I wasn't sold on anything, and
I hate that.
I don't know. So she said it. I was like, say less. Let's do it.
Cool.
Why not?
All right.
It was named after a. We're just gonna go into the not the nitty gritty, but all the info, like
okay.
the like
history,
like not even all history, but like statistic, like the facts. We're going into the facts of this guy. It was named after a Georgian poet, Sydney.
Just Sydney.
No, Sydney.
That's a wild name.
It's Lanier.
Sydney Lanier.
Lake Lanier.
Yeah.
Lanier? No, yeah. I just want to say Lanner every time I say it.
It's probably how they pronounce it.
No, that's...
Like Lanner.
That sounds a little like too West Coast country.
You're right. Yeah. What does East Coast country sound like? Like Lena.
I don't know about that one. Sydney Lanier, sorry. I don't know if they're around, so it's fine. I don't know if that person's still around. I don't think so. Because it was created in the 1950s, so I mean, technically they could be real old.
Maybe.
So a couple of different sources say different years for when it was created, so I'm just going to say 1950s.
Okay.
And a lot of them say 1950s, but the U.S. So I said, I have to just say it to you guys, I said corpse for for the U.S. Army Corps.
U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
But it's U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And I knew that. But
honestly, why is there a P in there?
I don't know, because the U.S. literally, it makes me just question everything.
It's about as useless as the P in pterodactyl.
Literally. Or like xylophone. Sometimes that word, I'm like, y'all just need a word to start with X.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're not going to talk about the English language.
I don't know very many words that start with X.
X-ray.
But isn't that a shortened word of something?
That's a great question. Maybe that's why they don't have it on the alphabet anymore.
Maybe.
Well, somebody, if you know, let us know. Let's find out. Oh, so they built a Beaufort Dam. The Army Corps.
Army Corps.
They built it for flood control, power generation, and fun fact, I also thought this said recreation, but it's recreation. I looked up, I was like, recreation? Maybe I'm just thinking of it in the wrong way. No, it's recreation, not recreation. So,
again, another thing of the American language, or the U.S. language, English language.
Yeah, or Sam's dyslexia, so, and lack of reading skills sometimes.
You are a faster reader than I am.
I think...
And that is the truth. I'm a very slow reader.
Yeah, but at least you get everything right.
I wouldn't go that far.
It has 692 miles of shoreline, 26 miles long at the, like, so it's like the shoreline, like if you measured all the shore, it's that long, but lengthwise it's 26 miles. And then at the dam, like that's kind of the deepest part. Okay. 200 feet.
That's deep. Pretty deep.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty deep.
When it's full, it's they consider it full at 1,071 feet above sea level.
Dang. Okay. What kind of fish are in there?
Dang it! I knew you were gonna ask this, and I didn't even look. There's freaking bodies in there. So.
Is it freshwater?
Ooh.
Or saltwater?
I didn't even think about that. It's a river that they stopped, so I'm guessing it's freshwater.
It's probably freshwater.
It's a river that they.
It's probably got your basics. If it's in Georgia, it's probably got bass, trout, crappie.
People swim and do all sorts of stuff in there. So,
yeah, it's probably got your basics.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's got anything super crazy.
It's probably got crazy catfish in there feeding on people.
Actually, I don't know if I added it in here. I might bring it up later. But some crazy encounters is there's like divers that go in and they like you could look it up on YouTube. There's so much stuff because it was built over, like it was filled in, like there's a full on town. They went, there were cemeteries, like there was
a whole town underneath.
Towns, like there was so much stuff there, and they were like, "Sorry, y'all, get out."
Dude, this is not the first time this has happened because Cascade was over a highway.
Yeah.
Lake Cascade was over a highway. Yeah. Lake Lowell is a man-made lake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, apparently it's just a thing.
They're like, let's erase some history. Let's just put it underwater.
Yeah, it's pretty... Yeah, exactly.
That's what they did to Atlantis.
I'm glad you made that point because a lot of people got like... The government was like, oh, you're getting your money's worth for your land. And they're like, but I'm not. Like, this is generations worth. Especially in Georgia. Like, that's like... more older towns compared to over here on the West Coast. So, that's some pretty...
They're like, my daddy bought people to help me build this house.
That's actually another thing we'll go into with Trail of Tears and fun segregation. That was a rough time at this area.
The Trail of Tears was in Georgia?
Part of it was affected there. Is Cherokee lands over there.
The Cherokees over there?
I thought not I'm pretty sure it was Cherokee that I read. It's either way, that land is said to have had all sorts of crazy history through it. Okay. So, but they say part of the Trail of Tears, but like where, I guess they say it's like the Trail of Tears where pretty much Native Americans were just pushed out. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of bloodshed with that happening. It may not have been in the main line of... It may not be in the same line, but it was pretty much the same exact thing that happened for them. Okay. And then there was a lot of lynching, killing, things like that. Were happening. The classics that were happening in Georgia. So that's part of also why they say that it has such a dark history. But
Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier?
Lanier, yeah. Where was I at? Oh, 4.9 billion gallons per day are released by the dam.
4.9 billion. Also, if we're measuring that high, why are we measuring it in gallons? You know what I mean? Why not just measure it in like fuck tons or something? Like there's about 10 fuck tons of water going through there. But like gallons makes like, zero sense.
If I can buy a gallon of milk, there's no way you need to be using that size for a dam.
Some dude comes in, he's like, so how much water runs through this? Engineer just says about 10 billion gallons. Like, I know that's a lot. Oh my goodness. A gallon is so... You know what I mean? It's like if somebody asks you how much money you have, you don't say, I got 12 trillion pennies. You know what I mean?
You're not wrong. Oh my goodness. I want to say it's called Gwinnett County.
Okay, I'll buy it.
Gwinnett.
I need to see it.
Gwinnett.
That is a wild name. Gwinnett.
It looks like Winnet, but with a G in front. So
Gwinnett.
Gwinnett County also pulls about an average of 65 million gallons per day from the lake.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water. They pull that every single day from the lake.
2 fuck tons right there.
But it's a public water supply for almost 1 million people, but 800,000 people.
Okay.
So a couple fuck tons of water.
Thank you. I understand. I understand entirely now.
As recreational use, it has 68 parks, 1,200 campsites.
Talk about Gwinnett County.
What surrounds the lake.
Oh, okay.
And
68
yeah.
campgrounds?
No, campsites. So this is 68 parks and then 1,200 campsites.
Dang.
So that includes, you go to a campsite and there's like 20 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
like that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm guessing a lot of it's like on top of each other too.
Well, I'm thinking of like CJ Strike. In there, there's
50.
Is there 50?
Easily. Not, I think where you're thinking of where we camped.
I know, but
I can see.
I'm thinking all around the park.
I bet we could look it up.
There's
but
maybe I would say a little over 100
yeah.
spots total.
I would say because they
maybe
have top
4 or 5 different campgrounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it could. I think it very well could be, and then they have actually 10 full service marinas, but the whole thing brings about 8 million visitors a year.
Dang, actually.
Yes.
Dang.
Yeah. So when this was created, we already kind of talked about it. A lot of was covered. Towns, people were pushed out. The biggest thing I was reading everywhere was cemeteries. There was like a large cemetery, or it said a couple of them said there were a couple of cemeteries. I'm just going with there's a cemetery. They, exhumed these bodies.
They actually pulled them out?
Yes, and then reburied them in other places. But people say there was unmarked graves that never were moved or nobody claimed them, so they're just at the bottom of the lake.
Under 6 foot of water.
Under 200 feet of water.
Or, sorry, I meant 6 foot of, dirt underneath the water.
No, because they had to dig deeper for the lake. They would have to have dug. They, dig. They excavate, land.
Really? They don't just right over top?
Mm-mm. They have to, excavate out stuff. So, yeah, I guess technically it could have, but, realistically, they would have moved, they moved... What was one? Oh, people say they hear a bell in the water, but they're that's physically impossible. Anything that would have floated, would float, so wood, pews, things like that, had to be taken out. So the church wouldn't have been standing because it would have been made of wood.
Right.
So that would have been a hazard later. So,
right. Yeah, I agree.
So that's what they're saying is they take out all that stuff, and some of that stuff you have to dig up some trees, stuff they had to pull full on trees out. So obviously the ground is
you get on that, dude. Pulling up a whole freaking tree.
I've seen some crazy pictures though where there is still full ass trees in this lake.
Oh, I don't
when it's low.
Dude,
and you can see structures and you're people are this is ridiculous. This is scary. But so it's so common.
How low does the dam get? You said it's 200 feet deep at its lowest, which I'm assuming that's not where the town is.
Mm-mm. I have no idea. I don't know how minimum it is, but it's considered full. So I guess anything less than the 1,071 feet above sea level would be. But apparently since, 1994, I want to say, 2 people have died in swimming or boating accidents.
Hitting some structures?
No. Not all of them have causes. They've just drowned.
Okay. I just got little shivers.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining a little hand coming up, tickling my toes.
Actually...
Dude, please don't. Dude.
That's the number one like encounter that people feel hands grabbing them.
I have felt this before. It is goddamn seaweed, and if you change my mind on this, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, like people like have like their whole foot is like down.
No.
Like it's like, and people see them like struggling to get up.
Yeah. Yep.
So
that's a weird seaweed you ran into, buddy. When I was
that's how you have to.
Lake Cascade over on the south side.
Dude, I felt fish one time go past my leg. Ever since, it's freaked me out.
Well, whatever grows up, I'm pretty sure it's seaweed. Or,
it is seaweed, weeds.
Or like if you play like Minecraft, kelp grows that way.
I'm pretty sure kelp is real.
I know it's real.
Okay.
But like, I'm just giving. If anybody plays Minecraft out there, that's what I'm talking about. Just go straight up in water.
Were we just talking about Minecraft and the other one?
Probably.
Oh yeah, because it made the little slender guy.
Yes, we
that's
did.
Right. Okay.
But what I'm saying is those little seaweeds, dude, freaking. They rub up on your leg when you're swimming in Lake Cascade, and it feels like somebody just brushed up against you or a fish did. So, the number one encounter in Lake Lanier is people talk about...
Or seeing hands.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Okay. Now I'm actually seeing it. It says... Forsyth.
What? What is the word?
Forsyth.
Foreskin County. Let me see. What does it say? Forsyth County?
It's Forsyth.
God. It looks like they just
Forsyth, America, here to go.
Dude, it looks like they just picked letters of the alphabet and we're like, that looks good.
You know, grammar wasn't their thing back then, you know?
And we're back. We just took a little break. We had to look at some stuff, take a look at some maps. So Sam was right. Yes, the Cherokee Nation did touch Georgia, and it looks like Lake Lanier was right around those boundaries. Or within those boundaries.
Also, when we were looking up Foreskin County,
I bet the high schoolers get, like the high school football team. They're like, we gotta beat Foreskin County.
Okay. But Miguel was like, there's no way this is like the main city in this county.
Yeah. The main city in Foreskin County is coming. How crazy. Somebody thought that through.
Miguel was so excited when he saw that. I can't even. Okay. Anyways, we're going to get back on into maturity. Okay. Where were we? Okay. In the 1830s, the U.S. government pushed out most of the southern eastern, so I guess it looks like it's the southern easternmost origins of the Trail of Tears. So southern eastern. So it's like literally towards the very end corner of the Trail of Tears is where it was. I knew I was talking about something I was right about. But that's pretty much one of the big ones, obviously. So much death and sadness came out of that.
Not even just death, but like horrible death.
Like
imagine
awful.
just like starving to death, like literally walking till you die. That's horrid.
Yeah. It's really sad. And also, up until 1912, about 1,100 Black people owned land and operated business. But in the fall of 1912, an 18-year-old white woman named May Crow was raped and murdered close to Burns Bridge on the banks of the Chattahoochee. Literally, it's Chattahoochee River.
I've heard this story before.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Where have I heard this story? Continue.
In the village called Oscarville.
Chattahoochee up.
The crimes were pinned on 4 young Black people who happened to live nearby. They were 16-year-old, 18-year-old, 22-year-old, and 24-year-old. Ernest, Oscar, Jane, and Big Rob. The day after their arrest, the day after Edward's arrest, which is, which one is that one? Oh, Big Rob. Big Rob was actually the one that got arrested out of the 4. Not all 4 of them. The white mob invaded his jail cell. He was shot and dragged through the streets and hung from a telephone pole just outside the courthouse. Incoming.
Well, I've heard this story, but he didn't end up doing it, right? She faked it?
No, this is a different one. This is different. That is a story. Because, yeah, it made pretty much a whole town, like, go back into... Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. It's not that one. This girl was actually, like, raped and killed.
Oh.
So, I guess he never got to do trial, so... Right, we don't really know. But, Crow's death, the girl who was raped, and Edward lynching... it pretty much started violence, you know. I mean, stuff like that does happen. White mobs, known as night raiders, would go door to door with torches and guns, burning down black churches, businesses, and demanding that all black representation of Foreskin County needs to leave. So that's a pretty dark history in itself. I would say
not uncommon, though, right?
Yeah, no, in the South especially, not super uncommon.
Right.
But the residents picked up and left. They left their land, their crops, homes, most of their belongings, and all the whites got to pick everything they wanted. So they just left. So that's a dark history. And then they just covered it all in freaking water.
So that was...
Well, this was 1912.
Oh, so
1950s.
This is what happened to that town before it was covered in water.
Mm-hmm.
And then after everything got, I don't want to say sorted out, because that's no way to handle things, they were just like, all right, actually, your whole town is going to be under fucking water.
I know. Low-key, kind of... How much of that land was yours?
I don't know. Can we do the same thing to San Francisco? You know what I mean?
It's gonna be underwater anyways. Isn't that? Don't people say California's gonna be underwater like in some random amount of years? Yeah. In Florida, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's if you believe in global warming.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Okay.
I'm not saying we don't, by the way, but I'm not saying we do. You know, we just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna switch from this sad, dark side.
It is pretty sad. It's pretty dark.
Into some crazy stuff. I was going to tell you this earlier when you brought up fish and catfish.
Ooh, catfishing.
But over the years,
oh gosh,
divers have reported creepy sightings underneath the murky waters.
Uh-huh.
Some tell stories of freaky catfish as big as a Volkswagen.
Damn.
Could you imagine seeing that?
You would need like 100-pound braid. Like easy.
I would be
and
scared.
You're not pulling that out of the water. You need a freaking...
You'd have to hook it up to your truck and tow her out.
Yeah, you need to get a hook in its mouth and then, use your truck to pull it out.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is huge.
Yeah.
What's it feeding on?
Dead bodies. But there's YouTube is filled with divers showing you like sunken houseboats and debris and all that stuff. So if you're curious, check it out. YouTube has all this stuff.
We'll attach it on our Instagram. I always say that. I don't take care of our social media.
I know, and I always forget.
So if you're watching or listening to these episodes and you're
like, bro, where are these?
You're like, these guys say it every week. They're going to attach stuff on their social media and they don't.
I should just go
Don't blame me, blame Sam. So.
Well, if anything, maybe we'll just have to do a highlight through our other stuff throughout the week. Because usually I post like once a week. I'll just have to maybe do some flashbacks. Be like, oh, do you remember this episode? Check it out.
We start. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I'll try.
I'll try.
I'm going to try to do better. Sorry. I'll do better.
Just do it.
Just do it. Where was I? Okay. So I kind of touched on 200 people have died since 1994 in this lake.
You said 2 people.
200 people.
Oh, that's quite a bit more than 2.
Oh, that makes sense. You were so surprised. You're like, only 2 out of the 8 million.
What is
like,
that? Just
awesome.
a fun summer or what?
Yeah. Lake Alatona. These are some pretty great. They look.
They took all the cool names.
Yeah, they look phonetically pretty nice. It's 40 miles.
Phonetically, damn. I never heard that word out. I never heard that word outside of a freaking dictionary.
Okay, whatever. This lake is about 40 miles west, and it receives almost the same exact number of visitors. Like, pretty darn close. But it's only had 1/3 of the deaths that Lake Lanier has.
Okay.
So that's kind of weird.
What's the population like surrounding Lake Lanier and the other lake?
But either way, it's the same amount of visitors. So visitors like from out of town.
Okay.
Or
yeah, you got me there.
Yeah, that's what people are like. That's weird.
Okay. Yes. I would agree.
I'm just saying.
That's quite bunkers.
Yeah. Well, to get into the spooky thing. It's not super spooky. I've kind of already touched... I watched this video, actually, about how this lady... She didn't, like, go into anything super spooky. It was on TikTok. She said that... Like, she showed pictures of, like, her son getting revived. Because he was... I want to say dead for 30 minutes. 10 minutes. It was...
That's some brain damage.
Yeah, this kid already had some, like, really rough health issues. Like immunity-wise. Like, I guess, like, something in his blood. I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's besides the point. It was maybe to his waist. Maybe. It's, like, kind of like a kid playing area that they have, like, sectioned off. And she showed a picture of it, and it's, you know, she's like, it's, like, maybe to my thigh, not even, but it's, like, at his waist, and it's even a picture, and it's to his waist. He's drowning, but she's, like, he gets out farther somehow, but she said that she went to go get water, and her assistant, which I was like, dang, an assistant?
Damn.
She's like, hey, just watch him. I'm gonna go get a water bottle. Duh, it's summertime. You need water. Assistant. Yeah, well, she's just like, I'm just gonna grab it. So she just grabbed it, turned around, and the assistant's just standing there, but her son is gone. And she's like, where is he? She just jumps right in and looks for him. She's looking underneath the water, and she sees him she's like hovering on the floor. Like, just barely hovering across the floor of the lake, and his leg is, like, pulled down. But his, like, the rest of him looks like it's floating, but one leg looks like it's, like, being held down. And he ends up surviving and everything. But that was one story. A lot of other people say they get, like, just, like, they want to, like, be sick. Like, they'll be boating, and all of a sudden they'll just get, like, all of a sudden this, like, awful feeling where it's just, like, so dark, so heavy, and they feel like they're going to throw up. And then as soon as they get off the lake, they're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I think they're drinking a little too much.
I was like, okay, drinking is pretty common when you're out boating and doing all that stuff.
And then you're throwing up literally on top of a grave. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you throw up overboard.
Yeah. But, oh well.
Let me puke on your grave, Bubberino.
That's pretty rough. Yeah, and these are sad because it's like people that just weren't claimed either.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that would be my fault. I would forget. I'd be like, oh, dang.
What do you mean?
I forgot to fill out the paperwork.
For me?
Well, hopefully, I think you want to be cremated, right?
Well, hold on. You would forget about my paperwork?
No, I wouldn't forget about your paperwork, but 1950s, and I'm a single mom.
Why are you a single mom in the 1950s?
If you died.
If I died?
If you died, I would be by myself. Yeah. A widow.
Yeah.
Singular.
Yeah. And you would forget about me?
No, I'm not going to forget about you.
Right, I'm just making sure.
Oh my goodness, but you'd be cremated, right?
Gosh, I don't know.
You've never thought about it?
No.
I want to be cremated so I don't take up so much space.
I think that issue goes a lot deeper.
Well, I mean, you can sprinkle me somewhere, but then I don't have to, like, take up space.
Yeah. I guess I'd like to be...
My sister always joked that she's like, you can just throw me in the dumpster. It's a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, what would I want
dude,
to be?
you cannot do that.
What would I want to be? I don't know. I'd be
cremated because then you don't have to get, like, exhumed. moved around.
What does that
Exhumed
mean?
was when you get taken out of the ground and put somewhere else.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I would like to be cremated, and then I would like to be pressed into a vinyl or something.
Oh, I knew that. You wanted...
Playlist.
Yeah, I was going to say...
Either that... Nah, I'm not going to say it on here. Nope. My mom's listening.
Okay. Anyways.
All right. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to say it. I might say it.
We'll give you some time to think about it.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
One of the most popular urban legends is a car wreck. So, there's a bridge.
It's a lake. How's there a car wreck?
There's a bridge.
Oh, you're right. You just
and a
said
car went over it.
Okay.
Into the lake. According to the story, a Ford sedan carrying 2 women, Dahlia Mae Parker Young, that's a name.
Dahlia Mae Parker Young.
Yep.
She has 3 first names.
Or 2 middle names.
I don't trust people with more than one first name in their whole name.
Like you saying like it could be a first name?
Yeah. Like if your name is...
I know someone with Courtney Alyssa Mae. And then her last name.
Yeah, but like if your name is like a...
Alyssa's a first name.
Yeah. Alyssa Jamie, if that's your name, I don't trust you already.
But what if it's their middle name? Like, oh, they're...
No, that's their full name.
That's concerning. It's just because you don't have a... It's just because, you don't have a...
I just think
a
it's
middle
off.
name.
Maybe. Could be.
Okay, anyways,
besides the point.
this for Dahlia Mae Parker Young and Susie Roberts...
Like that.
They drove off a bridge in April of 1958, and they tumbled into the lake. Some say the ghost of one of the women, they call it the Lady of the Lake, wanders the bridge at night in a blue dress, lost and restless. Locals didn't see, and then the sedan was... So this wasn't solved right away either. The locals didn't need a forensics. Like they knew exactly what happened when everything was found. But they saw Parker Young, four name gal. They saw her wearing that blue dress because she borrowed it from Roberts. They were going to a dance. Everybody's like, oh, it's her because we saw her that night before they went and had an accident. Yet they didn't even find it until 10 years later and put 2 and 2 together that's where those girls went. So they're like, oh, it was her, we remember. But yet they didn't even find the car or the body technically until later.
Nobody even tried to look for him?
That's what I'm saying. I just saw that in one of the stories it said that it took them 10 years to figure it out.
That's lousy detective work.
I was like...
But also, didn't Supernatural do an episode on this? Their first episode was Lady of the Lake?
No, not Lady of the Lake. It is in the first season.
Is it a lady? It's on a bridge, unless they're
that's the woman in white. That's
Lady
the first episode. Yeah, that is the first one.
Mixing it up
she is on the bridge, but they do one where there's a lake and they drown. The lake is getting upset and it drowns people. But it was a little boy, I think. I know actually because I've seen it 20 times.
Yes.
I like to say, oh yeah, I think that happened in Supernatural, and I'm like, oh, I know for a fact
it happened at exactly the 3rd minute, 18th second of the second season.
It's episode 3.
Yeah, it's episode 3. Yeah, come on. Is it actually?
But there's also things saying that she has handless arms. So I'm like, how is she grabbing people and tracking them down?
She's nubbing them up, dude. Grabbing them like chopsticks.
That's the fish, because they're like, well, yeah, it doesn't have fingers, but the nubs, that would be a fish. Yeah, there's fish hitting
she's out there chopsticking them up, trying to grab them.
More. Oh my goodness. So she snatches up Dang, I was going to make that sound so good, but I just stuttered. Unsuspecting. Oh, I did it.
You did it. You surprised yourself.
She snatches unsuspecting lake-goers and drags them to the bottom.
Yeah. That was our cat, if you could hear that. He lives a very stressful life.
That was the deepest sigh. He's like, oh, the pain.
I know.
I ate too much food. My tummy hurts.
All my bills are paid. My bills are paid.
So I guess the last thing I'm going to say. In 2017, a longtime diver, Buck Buchanan. So I guess he has like a YouTube channel or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He told local media that he sometimes felt body parts in the lakes on his many excursions. They would reach out into the dark. You could feel an arm or a leg, and it doesn't move. He said he would just like feel into the dark. You could feel a leg or something, and I'm like, okay, Buchanan.
Yeah, no way, dude. Puke cannon.
Buchanan.
There's no way.
Yeah.
You're just deep diving and you're just going to stick your arm in something? I don't know. People are weird. I wouldn't do it personally.
I feel like I couldn't find. I don't know if it was because it was just where I was. Maybe I wasn't going deep enough. I don't know. But I didn't see a ton of like super spooky stuff. It was people always felt sick. People felt arms and legs. And there's a crazy amount of drowning. But there was also so many things of, when there's a lot of trauma or a lot of like
bad energy,
bad history in a place, sometimes these urban legends kind of grow when they like people just kind of feed off of that energy when nothing really ever happens. It's just kind of like word of mouth, and you're like, oh, did you feel this way? Oh, I definitely felt that way. Yeah, girl, you're on a boat, you're seasick, and you're tubing or something. Yeah, you're gonna get a little queasy.
And like,
you haven't drank enough water, you're getting heat stroke? Yeah.
Lake Lowe, for example, at the end of every summer has cytoplasm, something, bloom, algae bloom.
Blue algae?
Yeah, algae bloom, where you'll get rashed up, and not everybody knows that.
Yeah, no, I think
Cascade's starting to get it too, which is unfortunate.
I could see, if this teenage girl or whatever fell off the bridge, she died, that's a traumatic death. She wanders every once in a while. I see that. I see you.
Yeah.
But I didn't find anything super specific to that. I had like a lot of people where they're like, oh, I went there and it was totally fine. Or, oh, I went there and I felt awful the whole time, but that's it.
Well, I think that also comes with, I think some people are like sensitive to that stuff. Some people aren't,
Yeah. I also think it's
whether
a
you
huge
believe
area.
Or you don't. Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe
it is huge. There's a lot of coves in there. Like when I saw the picture of the map, so when Sam said it has like 600 miles of...
It's 962 miles.
Oh, 962, is it?
Or 692 miles. Yeah. Sorry, I swapped those.
Yeah, 692 miles of shoreline all the way around. If you look at it, you understand why. Because it zigs and it zags, and it comes in and out. There's so many little coves throughout the entire shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, so much of that's probably unexplored.
Yeah.
Not I don't want to say unexplored, but like...
Because I've seen pictures of that place, and it's packed.
Yeah.
Like,
I can
there's
imagine.
boats lining the entire edges.
It makes sense now because of how many coves and little gullies there are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, each one of those can be its own little campsite.
Yeah.
You have your own little cove. And it's probably its own little dock.
Yeah. Yeah, they like park their boats right up on the shore.
Yeah, it makes sense now that I've seen it. I was thinking, I guess, more of like a CJ Strike where it's pretty open and nice round edges. I mean, it's part of a river as well, but
for that, it's like canyon though. It goes straight up.
Yeah, there's nowhere near the amount of gullies or coves.
Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing, and and then it's over a town. So of course, even with Lake Cascade, everybody's like, "Oh, it's so spooky," and you're like,
"I've never felt spooky there once."
I've never felt,
yeah.
So,
but that story you told about the little kid being pulled from his leg down, that was a little wild.
Yeah, that was obviously somebody on TikTok said it, but...
If it's on the internet, it has to be true.
You're so right. I forgot about that. But that's all I have for this one.
Interesting. Lake Lanier.
Yeah, thank you for the recommendation.
Yes. We'll see you guys...
next time.
On the next one. I'm debating if I want to say that last thing.
No, you don't.
You're right, I don't.
Keep on wanting more.
Yeah. Maybe on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.